Mr. Roll It Up here with a blunt talk episode. And in this episode, we're going to talk about, well, one, I'm going to give you guys a little update on how I intend on kind of moving forward with the series. And then two, we're going to talk about how the Senate votes to allow FBI to look at your web browsing history without a warrant. But of course, before we do, don't forget to like this video, leave a comment down below with your thoughts about the FBI being able to look at your web browsing history without a warrant, and subscribe to the channel if you thought or think, this is informative and interesting stuff that you want to continue to follow along, and you see what else I continue to jump into. So, as I mentioned, wanted to give you guys an update. I hadn't been making any blunt talk episodes in a little while. I've been busy doing XYZ, and with the whole lockdown, everything's been kind of crazy. I have released the debut self-titled single, Mr. Roll It Up. It is on basically all streaming platforms. You can check it out on MrRollItUp.com, on this YouTube channel. I probably am going to be doing an official video on it for it pretty soon. But for now, you can see the audio visualizer that is up on YouTube. Like I said, it's planned on all streaming platforms. Moving forward, I think what I'm going to start to do is, because I'm I won't say a weirdo, I'm just random. Like a lot of people who might associate like cannabis and weed and stuff, like might not want to connect it to, the truth, and calling out the BS and speaking up about stuff like this. Maybe some would, maybe think back to Vietnam and how they're like, oh, all the hippies didn't want to go to war, and this, maybe you might be like, oh no, that makes sense. But I feel like since that period of time, there'd been a hard conscious effort to make, anyone who smokes weed out like you're useless and worthless, and you're lazy, and you're just a stoner who just sits around and doesn't do anything. You can't be productive. That's all BS. And I think that's kind of part of what I want to touch on with Blunt Talk series, because, you can still clearly be, significant when it comes to bringing change and informing others and helping others, and doing everything they say you can't really do when you are smoking on that good. So that's kind of how the direction we're going to be moving forward with this Blunt Talk series. I have another channel where you guys actually do see my face and whatnot, and I do talk about a lot of things like this and other stuff that might kind of align with this. But this will be I think me getting more into stuff like this, where it's like, all right, this is complete bullshit. I want to call it out, say it like it is, completely say it like it is, no holding back, and at the same time focus on stuff that's obviously going to be just relevant to weed and cannabis and stuff like that. So yeah, I think that's what we're going to do moving forward, and just keeping it where I don't have to do so much thinking and planning and stuff. It's like, let me just do it, put it out, jump in here like this, and just get at it. And if I think we do it like that, I'll be able to be consistent with putting out content and getting stuff out to you guys. So moving forward, that's the approach we're going to be taking, and hopefully you guys like it. Feel free to leave a comment down below with your thoughts. We're going to jump into this article right now, where it says the government just got even more power to spy on your internet habits as millions remain quarantined at home. So the U.S. Senate has voted, and it was 59 to 37. So clearly the majority said yay. The U.S. Senate has voted to give law enforcement agencies access to web browsing data without a warrant, dramatically expanding the government's surveillance powers in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, let's put this out for a second. Now, the power grab was led by Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell as part of reauthorization of the Patriot Act, which gives federal agencies broad domestic surveillance powers. Ron Wyden, Democrat from Oregon, and Steve Daines, Republican, attempted to remove the expanded powers from the bill with a bipartisan amendment. But in a shock upset, the privacy-preserving amendment fell short by a single vote after several senators who would have voted yes failed to show up to the session, including Bernie Sanders. 9 Democratic senators also voted no, causing the amendment to fall short of the 60-vote threshold it needed to pass. The Patriot Act should be repealed in its entirety, set on fire, and buried in the ground. The deputy of Fight for the Future told Motherboard, it's one of the worst laws passed in the last century, and there is zero evidence that the mass surveillance programs it enables have ever saved a single human life. The vote comes at a time when internet usage has skyrocketed, and this is what I was going to touch on because it makes sense. Like, they're shifting their attention to something that they can then, make some BS, just be all nosy and looking into people's stuff, and then pull up whatever stories they want on people based off of their browsing history. Um, but it makes sense that right now, like, this is where, it's because everyone's home and it's just stuck on the internet. So I get it that they're like, okay, we're not getting as many arrests and many things going on because people aren't out in the world. So how can we shift it a bit back to where we have that surveillance ability to see what they're doing and where they're at and stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, they know we're physically here at home, but when we're on the computer, they don't know where we're at. Well, now they will. So privacy advocates have warned for over a decade that allowing warrantless access to web search queries and browsing history allows law enforcement to easily crack down on activists, labor organizers, or anyone else the government deems a threat. It's like, I think about, MLK back in the day and how he was, basically made out to be America's friggin' biggest, enemy. Like he was a terrorist or something. Like they had to watch him and spy on him and whatnot. And it's like, no, that brother was an activist who was doing the right thing, speaking up for the people, and trying to shed light on the injustices and what's wrong with the country. And what did they do? They basically spied on him and followed and watched his every move, just for their own advantage, not for the greater good of the people, like they were supposed to be doing. And that's essentially what they're saying is going to be probably taking place right now with this policy put in place, this bill. So today, the Senate made clear that the purpose of the Patriot Act is to spy on Americans, no warrants or due process necessary. Any lawmaker who votes to reauthorize the Patriot Act is voting against our constitutionally protected freedoms, and there's nothing patriotic about that. So it's weird that there's not more news and media attention on this. This came out pretty much exactly 24 hours ago, and I feel like I haven't heard much about this. Why? Like, why isn't the news covering this? You know what I'm saying? And that's, there's other COVID-19's kind of sketchy things that have gone on where it's like, how come I haven't seen any mainstream news reporters talking about this? So things like that make you kind of question. And that's where this blunt talk series, I think, is going to work well for me, and me being able to just be me, keep it 100. uh My music, I think, is, it's clearly about weed, but I also do kind of talk about things like BS, politics and things like that. So this all aligns really well and makes the most sense. So I think, yeah, like I said, that's the direction I think we're going to continue to move forward with this blunt talk series. What do you guys think about this, though? Do you think they're going to start to just pull out the guns and start just going after, like they said, activists and people that are speaking out against them and stuff like that? Like, if you are someone in a political position and you have any kind of power, wouldn't you be like, hey, Mr. Agent over at the FBI, that's my my inside guy, you don't need a warrant to look into people now. So can can you get the inside scoop on John Doe over there? Tell me what he's doing. Tell me what Mr. Roll It Up is doing. I mean, I think the worst case scenario for me, they're gonna be like, man, I don't even know. What would they, the worst case scenario, be like, this guy's a freak. Nah. It's like, I mean, yeah, I look at porn. I'm a dude. So, but none of, like, what's the craziest kind of porn? I'm trying to think, like, it's all normal, I'll be honest, pretty much it's some interracial, or some ebony BBC. um, you know, I'm a brother. I like women. But I'm not really extra freaky or anything like that, so they won't really see any crazy, fetish ish licking toes and all that. Um, so I think we're good. I think we're good there. But knowing this is taking place, I mean, shoot, I ain't gonna be looking up anything. So I don't know. Yeah, this is interesting, and it's funny because they're getting away with so many, like, there's so many things, bills, I feel like, that have been snuck in over the past 2 3 years that people don't even really know exists. My biggest thing that I'm completely against, that I hate, is Citizens United. And I think I'll do a whole nother video on Citizens United. Look it up if you don't know what it is. It essentially, the money, the Trump is in his position because of Citizens United. He is the president because of Citizens United, and I don't really, I don't like Trump. I don't like any like any of these dudes. Biden, like Biden will be, worse. He'll definitely be more of a mascot. How we always say that. Like, Trump is essentially fell into that same mold. Yeah, he speaks his mind a bit more, and he kind of does some things that aren't what they want. And by they, I mean like the establishment, or the puppet controllers that are dancing. That, like I said, if Biden wins, it won't be Biden riding the country. We all know that. But a lot of people think that's more, I don't know, a safer bet than having a Trump run the country. So, yeah, I don't know. This is things are definitely heating up and getting more and more interesting, as you're seeing crazy stuff like this happening, where it's like, what the heck, like, no warrant, like, they're just going to be able to go look all up in your privacy. Like, your web browsing is basically, I mean, that's your everything. Like, everything you want to know what you're doing, like, that's your web browsing history. And I would imagine by your web browsing history, it might include possibly like your Google Maps, which has your tracking of your location. So wherever you go, they basically, Google Maps pretty much tracks all of that. So if that is part of like web browsing history, I don't know, like, what they're kind of all of the actual, like, definition. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it would be considered. When I think of web browsing, I usually just think about what someone goes to when they're going into the internet. So you go to, Safari or Chrome, pull your app up, and then whatever pops up there, whatever you type in there, to me, that's what they're going to be able to have access to when I read this. But it might potentially include things like that, because I don't know, Google Maps and your tracking and stuff, it's all connected to the internet, and I don't know, man. So this is not good. Not good at all. So, yeah, let me know what y'all think about this. One, about the FBI being able to get access into your history without any warrant at all. It's like, if they don't have any kind of real cause, like, I feel like they should have, there should be something put in place that's like, okay, now they're able to look. Like, and that's what the warrant is, basically. It's like proving and saying, like, this is justifying why they should be given that access. Without it, it's like they're just going to go look up anyone that they want to target, anyone at all. That ain't cool. Not cool at all. So let me know what you guys think about that. Comment down below in the comment section. Leave a thumbs up if you guys thought this video was good. If you like this kind of, I guess, style approach, me kind of reporting on some news, also throwing in my thoughts, my 2 cents while we're just chilling. Like I said, this is blunt talk, so we're just gonna kick back, roll up, smoke up, and talk about whatever we want to talk about. In this episode, in this video, we're gonna talk about the FBI looking in your web browsing history. They're probably gonna see this video and be like, let's look up that motherfucker and see what he really got going on. I grind. I got a few different projects and things I'm trying to work on and build up and stuff. So, but like I said, I do call out the BS a lot, and some of it might not be aligned with what some of these people want. FBI agents, I'm sure, want to have as much access as possible to all of this, which would only help make their jobs easier, I guess. So, I might be making myself an enemy right now, putting a target right on my Mr. Roll It Up. But hopefully not. Hopefully, they're like, nah, this brother's just, like you said, he's speaking the truth and he's just keeping it real and he's been helping to inform our people, because this is all about our country and making it as good as possible and us enjoying ourselves while we're here and, progressing and moving forward. So we shall see, I guess. Yeah, maybe this is just a weed speaking now. I don't even know. But yeah, this is not good. Not good at all. Big Brother is here. Literally, George Orwell was not playing when you're saying like they're gonna be watching our every move, and it's like there are cameras all over the place already. Now they're gonna be able to literally see what I'm looking up right now, that I'm on this page. Maybe they got a tracking thing set up on this page where they're like, hey, anyone who goes to this page, let's follow them. Let's see what they're looking up. See what else they're looking into. Who knows? Like not good. Not good at all. So yeah, we're gonna wrap it up there. Let me know what you guys think. Like I said, just leave a comment down below regarding this. Also regarding this kind of layout of the Blunt Talk series. And, if you've heard the Mr. Roll It Up myself titled debut single, let me know what you think about that. If you haven't, go check it out right now. Leave a thumbs up on that. Peep it. Of course, as you do, you might want to have a little, ganja ready and a blunt or two, either rolled up or ready to be rolled up, and you can enjoy it. And I'll be putting out a lot more music. Initially I was thinking just one track a month, but things have changed a little bit, so we'll see how things how we roll out the next track. But lastly, subscribe to the channel so y'all can stay up to date on these videos. I'm going to start to, like I said, try to be more consistent, try to put out some content on this channel, on this page, because it's fairly new. I don't have much content up here, many videos, but I'm hoping to change that. And as I obviously get a following, build up people that are looking forward to seeing the content, that would encourage me to do it more and more. So yeah, like I said, do what it do. I'm gonna do what it do. And I'm gonna check y'all in the next video. Peace. Roll it up, Mr. Roll it, roll it, roll it, roll it, roll it up, Mr. Roll it up, Mr. Roll it up. I wake up in the morning and I sip my teacup. I sit down at the table and I break my weed up. I roll up a blunt and then I kick my feet up. Go to mass can rev so I can read up on that